Well, I'm here, Steve, but Tim's still making his way over, but he'll be here any second. In fact, he's just coming in as we speak. And I have to say, an absolutely privileged position to be here at Brands Hatch with a fantastic view of what is going to be a tremendous finale to the season. I've commentated on some great battles to the end, but with 4 drivers going into a final competition, this is a first time, Tim.
It is a first, and what a better scenario could we have than the top 3 in the championship lined up in championship order on the grid. Fantastic.
Absolutely brilliant. So cars will be moving away on the first of 2 green flag laps. The 1.2 mile Indy circuit here at Brands Hatch being that little bit shorter, they do get to do the 2 laps to warm those tyres up. The sun is out, it's blue sky, it's absolutely gorgeous here in October sunshine at Brands. It couldn't really be better for this season finale, and it's lovely to see so many fans watching on the sidelines, on the banking, in the grandstands, as these 4 drivers, Jason Plato, Matt Neal, Gordon Shedden and Tom Onslow Cole, go into battle, and the green flag waves them away on their formation lap, and this is their opportunity to warm these tyres up, get everything up and running and ready for the start of the first of 3 races. Let's have a quick word with one of the 4, just one of them, because they're all going to be pretty busy. Let's talk to Matt Neal. He starts on the outside of the front row. Matt, this is Ben in the commentary box. Conditions look pretty good out there today, mate. What can you do from the outside of the front row?
All right, Ben. Just got to concentrate on getting a good start, mate, and then see if we can get into the back of Jason as early as we can.
Is that literally or what?
Oh, of course not, mate, but it's going to be a close race, I think.
Have a good one. So Matt Neal already psyching himself up, and Jason looking very focused today. Saw him very briefly, Tim, as he came in, and just he's on a mission. You can tell these guys are all keyed up. That's the point situation then coming into this race. Although there is 1 point to add to Jason Plato's. He doesn't actually get it, that pole position point, until he starts the race. So at the moment he's shown as 2.24, but he's already actually on 2.25.
Yeah, it's actually 18. And I mean, well, straight away Matt Neal alluded to the potential for incident, and I think the 2 Honda guys know that if Jason can qualify on pole with maximum championship ballast on board and get away at the start, there's a strong chance he can win the first race. And of course, if he can do that, he starts the second race in the same place as well. So if they let him get 2 race wins under his belt, they're really going to struggle. So I expect to see an onslaught from the 2 Hondas on the very first lap.
So a lot to look forward to. Let's take a look at how they line up on this grid, and it is remarkable that the top 3 in points order is how they've qualified on the grid. So it's Plato on pole, Matt Neal alongside, and then Gordon Shedd. Alex McDowell lines up 4th in the second of the Chevrolet, so Plato might have a bit of help there. Chilton is 5th on the grid, and the first of the BMWs is the Airwaves car of Matt Jackson, and he starts in 6th position. Behind them, we've got James Nash and Sam Tordoff. Sam Tordoff is making his debut in touring cars. He comes from the Clio Cup. Paul O'Neill is 9th on the grid, and there is Tom Onslow Cole, all the way back in 10th, with lots of work to do. Andrew Jordan and Tom Bourman are next. Andrew's had a change of engine for today, so there's been a lot of hard work going on in the Pertec Racing pit. Tom Bourman, as I say, lines up on the outside of that 6th row. Then it's Rob Collard and Stephen Kane in 2 BMWs. Andy Neat and Arthur Forster. Forster actually with his best qualifying effort of the year so far, just ahead of Lee Wood and Arthur Forster's teammate Martin Depper. Then it's Martin Johnson and John George. Now at the back, Sean Hollenby in the Golf. He's pretty happy with the way the car's going. Ben Collins, the driver, of course, formerly known as the Stig, didn't really get a lap in yesterday, but they have fixed the gearbox problems, and James Kay had a clutch explode on him. That's why he is starting right at the back.
Yeah, I mean, Ben Collins starting at the back. Here's a quick look inside Championship of Jason Plato's RML garage. A lot of very anxious faces. They know this start, this first lap is super important. Jason's wife Sophie there looking on. But yeah, just back to Ben Collins at the very, very back. He hardly got a lap in practice, and constant gearbox problems. They've actually changed the gearbox from a 6-speed sequential to a 5-speed gate gearbox, and he's never driven that at all here. So it's a real baptism of fire for poor Ben.
Well, let's see how he gets on. He had to do a practice start out of the pit lane, as you say, because he's not had any experience of getting this thing off the line. But he will be coming from the back and trying to charge his way through. But up front, we've got this battle for the championship, of course. Jason Plato, the first pole position of the season, would you believe? But what a time to do it. And if he can go on to win this race, well, he gets even closer to that all-time record of Andy Rouse, the 60 touring car wins. But that's not really what matters to him today. What matters is the points. He has an 18 18-point lead going into this race. Can he further extend it and make life a little more comfortable for him going into races 2 and 3? The two Hondas are right there. Matt Neal up on the outside, Gordon Shedden in by the pit wall, and then of course fourth on the grid, Jason Plato's teammate Alex McDowell. Is he going to play a part in this? We're all set for the first race of the day at the Brands Hatch finale to get underway. Lights out, away we go. Jason Plato makes an excellent start. It's a poor getaway by Matt Neal. Gordon Shedden goes into second, and Alex McDowell is trying to follow him through, but he's Shedden into second. McDowell squeezing around the outside of Matt Neal. There's a bit of bumping and boring, and they just about get through paddock, and Matt Neal squeezes McDowell out, but that's terrible for Matt Neal. He's now being passed by Jackson up the inside.
Yeah, Jackson got the BMW away very well. Matt Neal, as you say, the loser in that start. Plato away though, and could be gone already.
Yeah, Jason Plato's had the perfect start to this race, making the break immediately and charging up the road, and this couldn't be any better from his point of view and for the RML team, for Chevrolet, because he has already opened up a gap over Gordon Shedden in second, Matt Jackson in third, then Matt Neal in fourth, and then I think it might be James Nash, one of the Vauxhalls is up there. Very good start from one of the 888 cars, but it's Jason Plato with a healthy lead as he crosses the line, and the others come across the line. It is James Nash in fifth place. McDowell is there just behind him in sixth in the blue Chevrolet.
Yeah, McDowell actually made a really good start, but Neal was the sandwich meat in the sandwich through paddock and just forced him out wide, and he's dropped down to sixth. But you're right, it's Jackson that's moved up from sixth to third.
Yeah, good start in the BMW for Airwaves there. Matt Jackson has had a bit of an up and down season. He's been fairly consistent but hasn't really qualified well, so that's often hurt him in the first race of the day. Let's take another look at the start of this race. Jason got off the line perfectly, but Matt Neal on the right really didn't get off the line particularly well.
No, too much wheel spin. You can see the smoke. He immediately tried to close down Shedden, but he knew that Shedden had got a better start, so he ducked out of it, and that left him at the mercy of Jackson and McDowell.
So this is an onboard view at the start, and you can see that Tom Onslow Cole, I think, well, he's up into seventh now, so Onslow Cole made a reasonable getaway, but it wasn't a mega start, and there was that little bit of bumping and boring as McDowell got squeezed out, and that was the reaction from the Chevy guys. Somebody's just been kicking up the gravel on the exit of paddock, but it wasn't one of the leaders, and Jason Plato is still leading this race comfortably from Shedden and Jackson.
Yeah, definitely Plato eking out a gap. He's going faster still on this lap, and this is exactly the start he wanted. And just imagine the concentration, the heart rate sitting on that grid. He's leading the championship, he knows the Hondas are behind, and he got a perfect start. Really, really good. So important. The start of this race was probably 90% of the result.
Yeah, but don't forget what happened to him here at Brands Hatch earlier this year, Tim, when he had an electrical sensor problem that took him out of one race, and it meant that he couldn't start the next. He only took 3 points from his earlier visit to this Brands Hatch circuit on the long track, so anything can happen still.
Yeah, anything can happen. I don't think that problem will happen again, but as you say, you never know. A racing car is a collection of thousands of components, and the simplest, cheapest one can let you down.
Yeah, well, Gordon Shedden still running in second place. Matt Neal, who lost out at the start, is still tucked behind the BMW of Matt Jackson. James Nash is following in fifth, McDowell in sixth. Ben Collins, by the way, has made a couple of places from the back of the grid. He's up to 18th place, but he's still got some work to do as we ride on board with Matt Neal sitting in fourth place. We've got the Airways BMW of Matt Jackson immediately ahead, and of course the BMW tends to get stronger and stronger as the race progresses.
Well, the good thing today is it's nice and warm. The BMWs were struggling in qualifying with cool temperatures, couldn't get their tyres working well. Now they will get their tyres up to temperatures straight away, and they've got the added bonus that the front-wheel drive cars will work their tyres that much harder in the heat.
On board with Jason Plato, the focus, the concentration. He's got the break that he wanted. 2 seconds the gap he's got over Gordon Shedden. He looks in the mirrors, he can barely see them on the back straight. It's a very useful advantage as he turns into Surtees, the left-hander. He's just got to keep that focus.
Yeah, he's looking ahead, quick look in the mirror, just at a couple of places round the lap to check the distance of the car behind, but he can almost forget that now and just concentrate on driving his lines, watching his pit board, looking after the car, but every single little noise or vibration in the car, this weekend in particular, he'll be very conscious of.
So further back, you've got the other Chevy and McDowell. Tom Onslow Cole is still in 7th place, needs to move up. Onslow Cole's the ones that really got to do some work here. Let's just take a little look at a replay replay. This was a lap earlier, a lap before. Let's just look in the background. I think there was a bit of passing going on the run into Paddock Hill Bend. Chilton, it was Boardman down the inside of Andrew Jordan. Did he make the move, Stick? No, he didn't. He got very crossed up.
Well, they both gave each other a bit of room. Jordan didn't close down the apex, and it was actually just running over the curve on the inside that flicked Boardman's car out. But great driving and well held.
They're both still there. They're in 11th and 12th places, those two cars. And Andrew Jordan and Tom Boardman battling hard. Stephen Kane is behind them, by the way, and Sam Tordoff on his touring car debut. He's sitting in 14th place. 15th at the moment is Andy Neat. Then it's Lee Wood, Ben Collins, James Kay from the back, then Martin Johnson and John George. Paul O'Neill, by the way, is running in 8th place, just behind Tom Onslow Cole, who still hasn't made any progress further into that top 10.
Yeah, unfortunately, this is not a track that's going to favour the Fords. We've said it already, but they need the long straights and the fast corners, and they think they always knew that coming to this track in particular, it was going to suit the Chevys and the Hondas better than them. So Tom, although he was 4th in the championship, was always going to be an outside shot anyway.
Yeah, and as he just went through, Onslow Cole's coming under more pressure from Paul O'Neill and Rob Collard behind him as well. So it's getting harder and harder for Tom Onslow Cole to even hold on to 7th, let alone move up the order. Jason Plato comes around to complete another lap. He's got fastest lap so far. Across the line he goes. That could well be the extra point then to Jason Plato. He's heading for an 18-point maximum from this race if you include the pole position. Gets a point for leading and, of course, 15 points for winning the race. Matt Neal looking at getting up the inside there of Matt Jackson, but no chance just to get past the BMW. Behind them, James Nash is coming under pressure from Alex McDowell, who has broken free of Tom Onslow Cole.
Yeah, Matt Neal really getting into his stride now and putting the pressure on Jackson for 3rd. He'll need to go for everything.
So,
that was Jackson spinning right in front of Matt Neal.
Yeah, absolutely. Going through Surtees up into Clearways. I don't know whether there was any contact or not, but Matt Jackson spins and regains the track once again, and that puts Matt Neal into 3rd place. Gordon Shedden is in 2nd. There's Matt Neal into 3rd, but it's gone wrong for Matt Jackson. Jason Plato's father looking anxiously on, but it's a great position for his son at the moment. He's got this advantage. It's closed down a little bit to Gordon Shedden, but he's still looking comfortable. Let's take another look at this.
Yeah, I think he loses it on the curbs there. He took too much curb and it just bounced the rear end of the car around. And yeah, I mean, just a little too greedy on the curb. Watch this, watch the left-hand side of the car. All the drivers take the curb here, but I think you'll see he runs right over the edge of it, and it just bounces there, just bounces the back end of the car. And that fractional loss of adhesion is enough to flick the car around.
And I think there are problems for Tom Onslow Cole. He suddenly slowed down on the back stretch on the Cooper's straight. Tom Onslow Cole in trouble. He has pulled off to the side of the track, and it looks as though 4 potential champions is down to 3. Oh, it's all gone wrong for the youngster who's been so impressive this season.
What a shame. It looks like the engine's gone. He obviously knew it was a terminal problem because he hasn't even tried to get round to the pit lane. He's stuck on a little bit of a hill now, so I'm not sure, and I've no handbrake in these cars either, but he's going to have to leave that in 1st gear, assuming he's still got gears. But what a shame. I mean, he has been potentially the revelation of the year, I think, young Onslow Cole, but he's been realistic coming into this championship, this final.
That is so disappointing for him. You're just looking at James Nash still battling away there for what is 4th place now, with Alex McDowell in 5th position. Paul O'Neill still running in 6th place. And, well, there he is, poor Tom Onslow Cole. Let's just see what happened to him. This was when he came out of the hairpin, Tim. Here it looked all right.
Yeah, it looks all right coming downhill. There, I think, is a problem. The others have gapped him, and he's pulled immediately to the right-hand side of the track. So lost something there, drive or engine or something very quickly, and he knew straight away that was terminal.
Let's just take a look. Is he still there? Yes, he is. Let's see if we can get a word with him. Tom, this is Ben in the commentary box. Don't know if you can hear us, but what's happened to you?
We just seem to have lost drive. It's either a gearbox or drive shaft, something in the drivetrain there, which well, it's a killer really. That's going to put us on the back foot for the rest of the day. But I mean, these things happen. These cars are taking a tough pounding round here, and it's just a shame to happen now.
Absolutely. Well, commiserations from us, and good luck in the next 2 races. So there is Tom Onslow Cole And that is bitterly disappointing from his point of view, but it's Plato leading this race from Gordon Shedden and Matt Neal. Still very much a three-way battle, but Plato is in the commanding position at the moment with that gap of 1.6 seconds, holding it over Gordon Shedden. Matt Neal a further 1.9 seconds behind. Then James Nash in an excellent fourth place in the 888 Vauxhall. I'll tell you what, 888 having a good weekend. Their Australian team won the big Bathurst race overnight from our point of view, so things going well from them.
Yeah, definitely, and the two young guys they got in this weekend, Sam Tordoff out of Clio's done an excellent job in qualifying and just learning a little bit of touring car racecraft, but James Nash, who's already done some racing obviously last year, he's really got the Vectra fired up.
Yeah, good to see, but Alex McDowell's on a bit of a charge here in the Chevy, isn't he? And that car is quick, as we've seen in the hands of Jason Plato, and Alex really getting up towards the back of James Nash. Two young drivers determined to prove their abilities in the British Touring Car Championship. Alex McDowell, oh, he's squeezing through on the inside. Nash won't make it easy for him, but McDowell squeezes him out and says, I'm having this, and he's through into fourth.
Was that Jason Plato in that car, or was that Alex McDowell? I mean, that could have been Jason. He's learned a lot from his teammate, hasn't he? And Nash flashing the lights, he's not happy about that for sure, but that's touring car racing, boy.
Yeah, absolutely. And behind him now is Rob Collard, and he might get another lesson from Collard, who's had a very consistent season and is desperate to try and make up another place or two here, and he's got up the inside. The Vectra just seems to have gone off the boil a little bit over the last lap or so. Yeah,
I think that was more a case of Nash overcommitting himself into clear ways and leaving the door open on the exit, really just in a little bit of anger at McDowell going through, but it's easy to do that. When someone passes you, you've got to collect your thoughts and not make one error and follow another.
Paul O'Neill tucked in behind him in the Sunshine.co.uk car. That's looking very close now to the back of the Vauxhall. Behind them, by the way, Tom Chilton still in his Ford, still running, and Andrew Jordan up to 9th place now with Tom Boardman in 10th position. Stephen Kane is 11th, then Tordoff, Neat, Ben Collins 14th, then Jackson all the way down to 15th after that earlier spin.
Yeah, Ben Collins has made good progress through from the very back of the field and hopefully got the hang of that gearbox now. This is the most number of laps he's completed all weekend.
Yeah, it hasn't been very easy for him. Meanwhile, Paul O'Neill keeping that pressure on James Nash as they come across the line. Plato's already completed 14 laps, onto lap 15 now out of 24. Paul O'Neill sizing up that Vauxhall, which goes in quite tight. Meanwhile, back with the race leader, Jason Plato, still holding a 1.9 second lead. Very comfortable in touring car terms over those two Hondas behind him. We've heard this week that Honda have confirmed they're going to be back supporting that Team Dynamics crew in 2011 and building their own version of a turbocharged engine for next year. But Jason won't be worried about that. All he's focused on here at the moment is staying ahead of those two Hondas. And so far, so good from his point of view. He's got that fastest lap point as well, set on lap number 3. And here comes Paul O'Neill again.
Well, they were side by side through Surtees. I didn't think they were both going to make it, but they have done. But Chilton's got on the inside now. Oh, yeah, Paul O'Neill's left him room. That was very good driving.
Yeah, and of course, that Ford is still fast in a straight line here at Brands Indy Circuit. It might not suit all the twists and turns, but it's still quick in a straight line. And he gets ahead of O'Neill. But now, can he put the pressure on Nash? And O'Neill's having a little look at getting back up the inside. And in fact, Chilton does give him room. Fair play to both of them.
Yeah, that was good driving. Chilton ran wide up paddock, and Paul O'Neill dived back underneath him again. It's Nash that's just holding these three cars up because Andrew Jordan's got on the back of them as well at the moment.
Yeah, Andrew Jordan, whose crew had a pretty difficult night. They got a bit of sleep, but Mike actually had to go off to another part of the country to get some engine parts to get that car back together for today. They changed the engine, so it's been a long night for them, long night for the crew, the Motorbase crew on Ben Collins' car, so a lot of sleepy heads around this morning, but it's all about getting the cars out in the action, and that's what we're enjoying here. James Nash got himself there back in front of O'Neill, as we'd seen, and Chilton still tucked in behind him, then Jordan, then Tom Boorman, Stephen Kane still just outside the top 10. And remember, the battle for the independence title is important, and right now that's looking better for Tom Chilton, because Chilton is the first, in a way, of the guys battling for the independence title in terms of this race, but he's still down in 8th place. Stephen Kane is in 11th place, and as we've seen, Tom Oslo Cole is out of the race.
Yeah, it's Motorbase running 9 cars here this weekend, 3 touring cars and 6 Porsches, so I wouldn't expect Dave Barton to get much sleep at all, although this is his home circuit, a mile away from their base, and they've traditionally been very strong here, so he'll be really pushing on Stephen Kane for that independence title.
Jason's pushed that gap up to over 2 seconds now, Tim, and you've got a 2-second buffer in touring cars. You've got to start feeling a bit more comfortable.
I think Jason's been comfortable after lap 1, to be honest. That first lap from the start was so important, but I'm just interested to see how Honda play this one, whether there'll be any team orders between Matt Neal and Gordon Shedden. I doubt it, although obviously to maximise the points, really, Matt Neal ought to take second, but I think there's so little in it, they'll probably let Shedden have that second place.
There's another little battle warming up for 4th place now between Alex McDowell and Rob Collard. So you've got the top 3 coming through. There go the Hondas. Now the next 2, this is getting pretty close between Alex McDowell and Rob Collard, and once again that BMW coming on strong. Rob was very disappointed after qualifying because he'd been fast in the free practice in that white and blue BMW, but in the qualifying session he got held up a little bit. Also mistimed his laps in terms of red flags. He was unlucky when the red flag came out, so that really stymied his attempts to qualify well. And Rob Collard now showing us the sort of pace that he had in the free practice sessions, and he's putting McDowell under quite a lot more pressure. Here they come, down the hill, out of the hairpin, down into Graham Hill Bend, lights ablaze on Rob's car. He loves this Brands Hatch circuit, but the question is, can he find a way past McDowell? Just gathered that there's a drive-through penalty for our new driver in touring cars, that's Sam Tordoff. He's currently down in 12th place. Not sure at the moment, Tim, what that's for.
Well, generally it's for sort of running out wide on the circuit, which is at 2 places, at Paddock and at Graham Hill. But since every single car in the race is doing it every single lap, I would, you know, be harsh to penalise just him for that. But I can't think what else it's for.
Nash has just lost out again. Both O'Neill and Chilton have got past him. So here we go. Paul O'Neill has moved himself up into 6th place. He's got Tom Chilton breathing down his neck in the Ford. James Nash has now dropped to 8th. Andrew Jordan is tucked in behind them. We've got bits of debris around as well, just to add to the mix.
Yeah, not on the racing line, fortunately, so that won't trouble any of these guys, but some great racing in that little group from 6 down to 9th.
Yeah, there was always going to be some good racing here this weekend as everybody tries to impress in the final meeting of the year, whether they're up in the championship battle or not. But Jason Plato is just controlling the pace right now. A slower lap last time around, but I think he's still fairly comfortable. The gap did come down to 1.4 seconds between himself and Shedden, but he's now put in a lap that's much the same pace. Now, Chevy got tyres ready there. Now, what's that all about?
Well, I mean, unless they've been extremely aggressive on their setup, I'd be surprised if they're worrying about tyres at this stage of the race, unless they've got a problem. I mean, obviously one of the drivers must have radioed something in, but hopefully not Plato. But this circuit is not necessarily aggressive on tyres like Thruxton is, particularly, unless they've run over the curbs early in the race where the tyre pressures are low. So very worrying to see that, particularly from Jason's point of view.
Yeah, and the gap has closed a bit between himself and Shedden. There's Plato coming out of clearways now. He's got, I think it's the Golf up ahead of him of Sean Hollenby, and he's already flashing his lights in plenty of time, but he's not lost that much on this last lap. He had a 1.5 second gap, and it's 1.7 now, so that was a good lap from Jason Plato. It was the lap before that that suddenly he seemed to lose half a second or so. Now he's back on the pace, and now he's about to get past Sean Hollenby, and apparently the tyres have been taken back into that RML garage.
Well, that was obviously just a reaction to something. Maybe Jason felt something, or Alex felt something in the car and reported a potential problem, but clearly that's gone away now. So sometimes you get a ball of rubber from the marbles that builds up on the tyre and then throws itself into the wheel arch with a loud bang, and it can very easily be mistaken for a puncture or a problem. But of course, you know, you can very quickly feel within half a lap whether that really is the case. So it may have been a full signal to one of the drivers.
Collard still welded to the back of Alex McDowell's Chevrolet here as they come out of clearways and onto the Brabham Straight, but no way through. McDowell taking a good defensive line as he approaches the fantastic right-hand bend here. Paddock Hill Bend, one of the most famous corners in British motorsport, plunging downhill, hitting the dip in the bottom, climbing back up the other side, and still McDowell doing a fine job here, holding on to 4th place. As I mentioned earlier, coming towards the end of his first season, another graduate of the Renault Clio Cup Series, put in some good performances this year, particularly in qualifying. And he's had a couple of podium finishes. We'd love to add some more to that tally, but he's not really close enough to Matt Neal to challenge for 3rd, and he's still having to work pretty hard here to protect 4th from Rob Collard.
Yeah, one more lap to go, but Collard will be pleased with the progress he's made, and hopefully he'll continue that progress in race 2 with another good start and race performance. Certainly that'll make up for some of the disappointment of qualifying.
Yeah, that's right. So across the line they come on to the final lap then. It is Jason Plato who is all set to further extend his championship lead and put himself into a really commanding position going into the second race of the day. And if he can keep up anything like this kind of performance, he could wrap up the title before we get to the third and final race of today's event. It's been a perfect getaway for Jason Plato. His lead is back over 2 seconds once again. Gordon Shedden is in second place. Matt Neal is in third place. But from Jason Plato's point of view, it could not have gone any better than this. He took his first pole position in qualifying yesterday, and with 45 kilos maximum ballast on board, he has trounced the opposition. Jason Plato wins the first race of the day here for Chevrolet. Second place goes to Gordon Shedden. Third to Matt Neal, and Alex McDowell, I think, is going to hold on to finish fourth. Yes, he does, from Rob Collard. Celebrations down there at the Chevrolet camp. Now they can really begin to believe the championship is heading their way.
Oh, they won't start believing until it's mathematically impossible for them to lose it, because this is still touring cars, and a bad start in the second race could leave him wide open. But that was a copybook race by Plato. He knew what he had to do. The start won him the race. As I said, it was 90% of everything that he had to do, and a great result for him. A perfect drive on a beautiful sunny day in front of a huge crowd here at Brands Hatch.
Yeah, he must be feeling over the moon with that one. That is absolutely what he needed. We've just got to sort of add up the points tally. He'll be on, I think, 242 points. Of course, Neal was his closest opposition. He'll have scored some 10 points. So we'll just have to work out what all that is. I think mathematically it's marginal. What's the maximum? You get 17 the maximum, can't you, from the next 2 races, which is 34. You know, I'm not sure whether he might not have done he might have done enough already here. I'm just trying to work out the maths. We'll have to check this out, but I reckon the gap is going to be 35 points now.
Yeah, you could be right, although I'm not sure the celebrations were in the garage were quite as euphoric as they might have been if he won the championship. We'll have to check your maths then, Ben.
Yeah, we'll have to check the maths. We'll have to get the guys at TSL. They'll be helping us out with the maths as well. They do all the official timing and scoring for the British Touring Car Championship. And we'll have a look at, first of all, at the results. Confirmation then that Jason Plato has won the first race of the day here, from Gordon Shedden in second place, Matt Neal in third, then Alex McDowell in fourth place, Rob Collard in fifth, then Paul O'Neill, Tom Chilton, James Nash, Andrew Jordan and Tom Borman rounded out the top 10. Stephen Kane, Andy Neat and Matt Jackson were next, ahead of Ben Collins, who came from the back, then Lee Wood, James Kay, Sam Tordoff, Johnson George and Arthur Forster. So let's take a look then at the points. A 242 versus 217. That is a gap of 35 points. I think that's enough. We'll have to get official confirmation. But it's 25, is it? Right, okay, 25. So yeah, we're not quite there. That's good. We've still got a battle to go. Let's get back down to the pits with Steve.